called Discrimination in College Admissions. And they point to a number of studies that have confirmed this. One is a study that came out in 2007. Quote, the discrimination against Asian Americans by Harvard and other elite universities was so severe that this writer dedicated a special chapter called The New Jews to compare it to the discrimination suffered by Jewish Americans in the 1920s and 1930s in institutions. And this study found, quote, the most elite universities have maintained a triple standard in college admissions, setting the bar highest for Asians, next for whites, and lowest for blacks and Hispanics, end of quote. He also provided various qualitative examples, as to how Harvard and other elite schools use various stereotypes to discriminate against Asian American applicants. That was a study from 2007. This one is 2009. Quote, Asian Americans have the lowest acceptance rate for each SAT test score bracket, having to score on average approximately 140 points higher than a white student, 270 points higher than a Hispanic student, and 450 points higher than a black student on the SAT. This is a study from 2012. Quote, the share of Asians at Harvard peaked at over 20% in 1993, then immediately declined, and thereafter remained roughly constant at a level 3 to 5 percentage points lower, despite the fact that the Asian American population has more than doubled since 1993, and as has the number of highly qualified Asian American applicants. Quote, the relative enrollment of Asians at Harvard was plummeting, dropping by over half in the last 20 years, with a range of similar declines also occurring at Yale, Cornell, and most other Ivy League universities, end of quote. This study is from Richard Sander, the gentleman we interviewed just a few days ago. He's a professor at UCLA of law. He's also a Democrat. Here's what he found in 2017, quote, no other racial or ethnic group at these three of the most select Ivy League schools is as underrepresented relative to its application numbers as are Asian Americans. The discriminatory practices by Harvard and other Ivy League universities have caused tremendous harm to students in the Asian American community. Stress, mental health issues, pressure to study even more as the bar is raised even higher, lack of trust in American institutions, self-identification crises, and fortification of racial barriers. For each and every Asian American college applicant, such practices engender a feeling that being Asian American, he or she is somehow less American than his or her peers of other racial backgrounds, and he or she does not or ever will not have full citizenship as an American, end of quote. Think about that. You already have to get a higher score. Because of that, you study even more, and then you are stereotyped as narrow because all you're interested in doing is studying.